The one.
Yeah, Prey.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. The one prior to that, where was that Godzilla? Yeah, you guys seen that on?
Bro, there's no movie with multiple predators.
Yes, this one
is. It Predators?
It's the one oh it's what's her name's in it? She dated Aaron Rodgers. Olivia Munn is in it.
What? I need to IMDb this
all
shit
of a sudden
right now.
All of a sudden, there's
I'm
some
in.
interest.
I'm very in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very.
What movie is this, dude?
She gets
Yeah.
she strips down in this movie. Dude, now you're downloading
Man,
already.
They hailed me on that movie. Yeah. That was like that.
Made that relevant just like that.
All of a
We're
sudden,
all
we
on
all want to
YouTube.
see it now.
Are we still live?
Mm.
Horse Trainer 10 and Betty White. Can you guys actually hear this? Is this live? Because I hit start streaming and then it stopped and I hit start again. Okay, so you guys we're live.
How's the audio quality? Is it all? Is it just as bad as it usually is?
Should be.
For being a podcast, you'd think that'd be priority.
Well, that's the thing. It's like the podcast sounds good, but our YouTube sometimes is funky.
Everything sounds good, they say.
Oh, all right.
5x5.
Bat 1,000.
Inputs sound good. Mega thrusters are
Picture.
go.
Voltron assembled.
Thank you.
You got a
Somebody
red
got
leader
that.
in there?
Red 5 is standing by.
What's the sixth one?
The what?
We can only go to that well so many times, Jose.
It's a deep well, though.
It's a plentiful well. It's a well of plenty.
Okay, we got people joining. We are things are moving on the screens.
We're spiking somewhere.
Things are no. It was weird because I didn't put in the stream key, which is usually what I do, and then I just hit start streaming by accident, and it started streaming, and then I went, oh shit, and then by the time I stopped it, it was on again, so I hit start streaming again, and now we're live, so people are hearing us. So
Hey, everybody in the chat room, can you just like the podcast or don't like just something? There's like 9 or 10 people watching.
I'd rather you not like.
Well, whatever, host. I don't know.
Nobody likes us. All right, Austin, are you ready for this shit show?
Don't tell me what to do.
You're right.
I don't
Horse.
know.
I'm sorry.
Hang on 1 second.
Sorry, horse trainer.
No, I'm
10.
ready. No, I'm ready.
All right, we're gonna start it. 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, it is Tuesday. It's 6:30-ish. We're live like we are most Tuesdays. I know it's not been as consistent lately because of travel stuff. And Matt is pissing off people in the chat room, telling them what to do. And Horse Trainer is pretty angry. I don't know.
That's why I normally don't tell people what to do.
Dude,
'cause
usually he was like,
pisses
yeah,
people
tells
off.
people
flat
what to
out,
do, or
don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
We are joined tonight by Austin from Irate4x4. How are you doing, man?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. We were supposed to do this last week, but as the text messages started flying with Austin, it was we made the error of scheduling something on Valentine's Day, and there was a couple of us that decided that was probably better to not do a podcast. And Austin promised some pretty romantic, juicy details, but hopefully he saved those for us for this week. Where are you at, man?
I'm in St. Louis.
Okay.
Oh, dang.
Oh wow.
Yep, St. Louis, Missouri. You guys are mostly all out west, right?
Yeah, we're all in Southern California. Yeah.
Yep.
You're so what are you?
No.
3 hours ahead?
Two from
Yeah,
you guys,
that's
so.
Central Time.
Central time.
Central Time. Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry it's so late where you're at.
Then there's like a mountain
you're fine.
time for like 2 states. Like,
Yeah.
why are you so special? Colorado and Arizona. Like,
Right.
what the hell
No,
is that?
Arizona doesn't have a
yeah.
time change.
Arizona's its own time. It's like its own island. It's its own island in the desert.
They don't
I just-
change their time.
I could have said Hammett. Like I just wanted to blame somebody.
So Irate4x4, you guys are familiar with it. I'm sure it's Irate4x4.com. They're on YouTube at Irate4x4 on Facebook and on Instagram. Austin, give me a little bit of background about you and the off-roading world, and what do you drive? How long have you been doing this? Why did you start doing it? None of us should be starting to do it. It costs too much money. But yeah, just give me a background.
Yeah, no, I probably started four wheeling back or three wheeling, I should say, back in the day when I was 6, 7, 8. Had Dad got me a little Honda 70 back in the mid early 80s there. So that was a lot of fun. There's a place around here called Lesterville, that we would always go to. And if you're familiar with Bigfoot, like the Bigfoot, Bob Chandler, that was his playground. So
Okay.
he's from St. Louis. So down here, those were the kind of trucks we had back then growing up, and uh, we didn't. I mean, we would just go down there and see the guy. Like my dad would have his own truck, and buddies would have their own trucks and three wheelers. And then every time he'd come up, everybody circle around and check out his stuff. And it was pretty awesome.
I'm sorry, I got not that that's not exciting, but I got super excited because I thought we were talking about the real Bigfoot. But then it was like, oh, that Ford truck. Which, okay, yeah, I mean, that's still pretty cool. But, I thought we were going to start talking about Bigfoot.
As Matt being a Ford owner, he gets excited about Bigfoot.
Yeah.
I guess both Bigfoots, yeah.
Yeah.
Not that.
And you said how long ago was that?
I was mid 80s, early mid 80s.
You look too young to be doing that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
You look. So have you? Did you always grow up in that St. Louis area? Have you always been in that part of the country?
Yeah, always been here watching you guys out west do all the fun stuff.
I was just gonna ask, like, what's your favorite place to wheel in that territory?
Mud, right?
Mud is fun sometimes. It's a big thing around here, but like I'm sure, like as you guys well know, our hatred for mud is slightly less than yours, but it does get old after a while. It pretty much sticks to everything.
It's not that we hate it; we just can't find it. It like doesn't exist.
True.
But also we hate it.
Yeah, it is. What are you driving? What kind of vehicle do you drive right now?
Right now, I got something on blocks in the shop. Unfortunately, it's been that way for about a year. I've been a Jeep guy my whole life since I've been 16.
Hence the blocks. Yeah, hence the blocks.
Oh, yeah.
Understood.
Block life.
I was going to say that sounds like me looking at my dirt bike in the garage. Like, well, I got a Jeep that sits on blocks. I go in there and I crack open a beer and I look at it like, yeah, someday. So
yeah,
I'm assuming that's
important.
We got a buddy in the chat room right now that's got your sister Jeep on blocks in his garage in Arizona. It hasn't moved since December of 2019, I don't think. That's the last time it came out.
That's funny.
So go ahead.
Been a Jeep guy forever. And when I got Irate, when we fired that up, I got rid of my Jeeps and bought a Unimog. So took that out and played with that for just a couple quick trips, and then tore it down and started doing a rebuild that's been going on forever. So
how is a rebuild on a Unimog? Are parts available for that thing?
They are. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but they are available. They're harder to find. They take longer to get. Luckily, there's this place out by you guys, California, Expedition Importers, and that guy's sitting on like a stockpile of Unimog stuff. So, like when they made those military vehicles, they had to make so many spare parts for the military to keep stock in warehouses all over. I mean, those things were sold all over the world. So, there's a lot of new old stock for like 1950s and 60s Unimogs out there. It's just a matter of finding somebody to get it to you. So
and paying the price, right? And willing to pay the price.
True. You guys know what Jeeps? Everybody says Jeep stood for.
Just empty every pocket.
Just empty every pocket.
Right. I don't know what the hell I was thinking because I got that Mercedes things, and Mercedes like, yeah, fuck you, hold my beer.
Casey, is that Unimog still sitting in front of that shop down the street from your shop?
No, I haven't seen it in a while.
There used to be a couple Unimogs.
They got wise, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe you should go snag some parts and send them to St. Louis for Austin. What's wheeling a Unimog like? That seems like it would be a lot of fun.
That's a really good question. I took it out to I bought it, and one of the members on the site brought it. He brought it all the way from just outside of Vegas to my house. We hung out. We looked at it. I spent about 2 months getting it up and running again, and then we went out I hauled it out to KOH, and that was the first year I was doing media there, and so I had more time doing media stuff than anything else. So I didn't really get to take it on any real trails. Brought it back and tore it apart, and so I'm anxious to find the answer out myself.
So that's a good transition to the site. When did Irate first hit the interwebs?
I think we actually went live late May of 2020. So like we kind of started talking about it and planning on it from the old site from the Pirate there, like early April. We kind of made some posts on there and said, hey, the people that have bought this are pretty much tanking the place. People are leaving in droves. Let's do something about it. We put a vote up, and not to sound rude, but nobody wants to do all the work of setting up a site and all that if nobody was going to go. So
yeah, for sure.
We threw a vote up, and everybody's like, fuck yeah, do it. So we did. And then in May, we made the transition when that other site did a major upgrade, which really means they're just changing to their advertising platform.
Yeah. So I think Jose's our resident forum guy. I had a little bit of a conversation with you. Like I'm not as familiar with forums as I would like to be.
So Irate4x4 was like the go-to.
It was, and I do remember going back to the time I did spend on there. I do remember there was a significant amount of smacking in the face on the forum. Like there was some stuff. There was some stuff there. So I lurked from the outside because I didn't have my keyboard confidence yet with all my thesaurus words, and just was like, I would go to forums for what they're designed for. The information about this. Hey, this is how I upgraded that. Has anybody else had this kind of thing? And then, I guess around that time when the platform was purchased and you started this, did you have to build everything from scratch on Irate? Like, walk me through that transition process. Was it like, okay, we're going to do this, and then you just went and started building from scratch?
Yeah, I mean, before Pirate even transitioned to its new format that they use, I got some forum software, bought it, set it up, bought a server, got everything deployed. I have a background in doing IT web stuff, so it was easy. It wasn't that difficult for me. I knew where to go to get the stuff, and got it all set up. And in a couple weeks, had a designer come in and do some design work, because I'm more of a software guy and we can't design for shit, So
it's hard to find someone that's a great engineer or software tech and is also a good GUI guy. It just doesn't happen.
It is. I royally suck at that shit. So brought somebody in to do that, got that set up, and I brought some of the moderators over, some of the big names that were there, and just to kind of help test the site out and put it through its paces, and then we were ready to go live. And we kind of sat on it for a week or so. Pirate, they put out an announcement saying, hey, on this date in May, we're going to take the site down for a while, and then while we convert it to the new software. And my background in IT, that should be something they could easily do in like an hour or so in the background. It shouldn't have taken the 3 days it took them. But I knew what they were going to do. They said they were going to do it, so I just wrote a little post. I said it was really just the stuff we had previously talked about on the forum. I said, this is the new URL. We're leaving because these XYZs. We voted on it. Here's that thread. Fuck these people. We're out. And I posted that at like, I don't remember the exact time, but say it was 5 o'clock. I posted that at like 4:59 on the site, and then right on 5 o'clock they locked that site down. And it stayed up there on the main page, on the first page, for 3 days. And I'm like, if that doesn't tell you how much they don't care about the actual people on the site and keeping the site alive, I don't know what does. So, and that was it. By a week or two later, there's thousands of people already on Irate and going to town, putting tech and bullshitting, the same kind of stuff you're talking about on Pirate.
And so your background in IT, I mean, that seems beneficial to take on a challenge like this. Like, I feel like if Matt was going to start a forum, he would then stop the forum because he would never plug in a computer to figure out how to do it.
So how would I start that forum?
That's what I'm saying. You would say,
guys, let's start a forum. And then ask somebody to start it for me?
No, you would say, we should start a forum. And then they go, do you know how to start a forum? And you go, yeah, fuck that. That's not a good idea. We're not going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't even know what a forum is. Like,
and I would go, hey, we're going to start a forum. And then I would do it wrong for 24 hours and then go, hey, we're not going to do that anymore. So I do. I mean, like a background in IT that had to help. Was there any other things in the development and deployment of the forum that you were like, oh shit, I don't know how to do this. I have to learn this. Like what was the challenging part of doing that?
Probably just the design shit, really. And then once, as far as getting it set up, that was really, I could handle that pretty easily. But once I did get up and running, I didn't quite realize how much stuff goes on in the background of running those. Not just a little, I forgot my passwords or changed my username or my billing didn't go, something like that. But the requests that come in for, like, somebody posts a link to someplace and they don't want you sharing their content. So there's taking care of those requests, moderating the site, and then we had some issues with people talking about Caitlyn Jenner and just started making jokes about that kind of stuff. Well, I don't.
Jokes.
The site was doing really.
What does she drive?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because that would be detrimental.
But
right.
But
Caitlyn
Jenner driving is also a topic that we should probably avoid.
That's true.
Yeah,
that is true.
I didn't want to dive into the specifics on what got the site in trouble, but
post interview we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, post interview.
I didn't think about that part. Yeah, there's probably, I mean, not only moderation of the actual forum, but just all the operational requirements in the background.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of little stuff. Just, the community's pretty happy. They're happy to have a new home to move to. But then there's also sometimes they want to talk about stuff that they can't, and we'll start getting flags from people start sending in complaints and stuff like that. And every once in a while you get a legal one that people wants their name taken off the site or some stuff like that. So that stuff does happen. But that was probably the biggest learning curve. I wasn't expecting any of that kind of stuff.
I didn't think about that. So if someone posts nudes of Casey up on the site, and Casey's
as one does.
There's plenty of them floating around. If you guys are looking for nudes of Casey, don't look too hard.
Taken away from my all fans.
Yeah. So if someone posts nudes of Casey up on the site, Casey then hits you up and say, "Hey, you got my wiener out. I want that taken down."
Or at least pay me for it.
Yeah.
Replace it with this Photoshop.
Yeah.
How many times have I wished that? Hey, you got my wiener out, and then while you're at it, I guess
at least twice that size.
Yeah.
Hey, I noticed you have my wiener out.
What lens is that? That looks hard.
Yeah, it's an average size
wide
lens.
angle.
Yeah. I mean, how
that picture was taken from really far away,
and it was cold.
It was very cold.
He
was in the mountains up there.
Yeah, Vermont.
That's right.
How often does stuff like that happen, where someone's like, "Hey, I want this down," or "This thread is representing me incorrectly," or that information is false? Like,
yeah.
How often is that?
Not super often. It was more. It happened more at first, and I kind of think it was probably the old site maybe fucking with us a little bit or something. I don't know. I think they knew exactly how to get an attorney to write a legal letter that made our hosting companies say, "Oh shit,
okay,
you're gonna get." They turned the site off until I fixed it. So
okay.
So somebody knew how to pull the strings, and so we've taken measures to move to hosts that are much more free and with speech and that kind of stuff. So we don't have to worry about that nearly as much anymore.
And I would assume that a lot of that is self-moderated by the community, right? In that, hey, this is a forum to talk about off-road vehicles and these kinds of things. And if people are going to post things that are too far outside of the realm of those conversations, right? I mean, I would assume that there's moderators and other people in the community that say, hey, take that to a different site. Let's focus on this stuff.
Yeah. There's plenty of that. There's even a private forum on there where people sit there and post. Nothing crazy, but they feel free to maybe speak a little more about what's going on in life and shit like that.
Yeah.
So but there's definitely moderators that are on there. We got them on there 24/7 because we got them in a couple different continents. But the community really is a awesome community, and it's the same. It literally is like somebody just picked up the pirate people and moved them somewhere else. Mm-hmm. They do a really good job. You still get that little bit of hazing if you come in asking something stupid without searching, So you still get that, and they, like you said, they do a really good job policing themselves, and so it really is, for as ignorant as they can be to new people sometimes. It's an awesome community. So
Yeah.
Can I fit 33s without a lift?
Yeah.
yeah, tell you to go fuck a blender or something.
Yeah.
That's
Well, Chevy 63-inch springs fit on my Toyota pickup.
Yeah.
right.
So looking at the forum statistics at Irate4x4, it's got over 21,000 threads, over 1 million messages, over almost 6,000 members. The latest member is PB52. Welcome aboard, PB52. Is that Peanut Butter 52? PB Blaster 52? What do you think the PB stands for?
Personal best.
Paul Blart. It's Paul Blart.
Personal
He was
best.
born in 52. So my I guess my point is that we're not talking about a small community or a small amount of information. I mean, that's a significant over 1 million messages. That's a significantly
That's a lot of traffic.
active community. Like, what has been I don't even know if this is something you can quantify. What has been like the most active portion of the forum? Is there like one community that's more active, or one board that's more active than others?
I think just like chit chat, basically, because every single person, whether you're a Dodge, Jeep, or Mercedes person, everybody falls in that category. So I think most people end up there bullshitting part of the day.
Oh, and I'm sorry, I asked a dumb question because it's right here. You can see on each one of the chats, each one of the chats, how many threads, how many messages. Why is there? You know what? There's 260 threads with over 6,000 messages on the Chevy, GMC, and Hummer thread. So one of two things is happening. Either Chevys and GMCs break down a lot, or people see Hummer and think it's a completely different site altogether. And they're like, hey, where do we get this information from?
The H3 is garbage.
That's why it's got so much traffic. I don't know. The Ford forum has 11,000 messages.
Yeah, but that's all awesome. They're like, my Ford is so awesome.
They're like, I need to fix. How do you fix? Fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Here's a picture of my Ford here.
You've got the Chevy, GMC, and Hummer board, Dodge, Ford, International Harvester. That's interesting. Isuzu, Jeep, Land Rover, Mercedes, Mitsubishi, Nissan, Suzuki, Toyota. Is there anything not covered? Like, is there?
There may be, right?
Yeah.
There is a Mercedes forum. There's a general 4x4 forum in there. It's kind of a catch-all for kind of bigger rigs and buggies, mostly post in there.
Okay.
But like my name's on all the paperwork and bills and all that kind of stuff. I don't try to claim this as mine, though. This really was Pirate. I was on Pirate for like 16 years. I feel like this is really just the community here. So when we launched this, I said, in the last several years of Pirate, they put so many silly forums on there, just trying to draw more traffic, and it really just diluted the traffic, to be honest, because people were trying to look all over the place and couldn't find shit. So, like 99% of the stuff I do on here, I'll always post something to vote and say, hey, what do we want this to look like? How do we want this to look? So the individual forums you see on the site are really because that's what we voted on. That's what we thought would be most beneficial right now. If some brand comes along and all of a sudden they start getting, they got like 1,000 posts that we can easily search and find, then we'll break them off and put them in their own forum.
I really think there should be a Honda Pilot and a Honda Ridgeline.
Stop pushing that bullshit.
Why is there no Honda? Look, I'm just saying it's been voted the best truck of the world forever. I'm just saying Honda's going to be the new thing, man.
You know what? I saw a Santa Cruz lifted on some like 32s. I don't know. It was some Meteor tires. It looked pretty rad,
dude. That mark that
I don't know if you can wheel it or not, but it looked cool.
I saw one yesterday that had like a bed rack with a basket on top of it and stuff.
Really? There it is. That's going to be the next one. The Hyundai Santa Cruz and the Honda Ridgeline are going to be the next.
I didn't say nothing about Honda.
I'm just saying. I like that you've got General 4x4, Noob 4x4. I'm almost afraid to look at it. RC rigs, so you've got a spot there for remote control kids, or adults.
Yeah.
It's mostly adults.
Yeah, of course, because those damn things are so goddamn expensive. Kids can't afford them. It's ridiculous.
That's big boy toys. In that section there.
The only kids that have them are because their dad is into it,
Yeah.
and they bought him a car.
Yeah. Probably.
Shop and tools, side by sides. Interesting that the side by side forum, 134 threads, 3.8 thousand messages. In relation to all of the other threads, that doesn't seem like a very big side by side community here.
Yeah, it's not. Where it's also the forum's fairly new too.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, so I think that's because that's definitely a growth opportunity, right? I mean, it's huge.
Yeah, it's slowly growing. I think the mentality of most people, like back from the old site in the day, is everybody used to build their own shit, and they kind of give the golf cart community a lot of trouble for just going out and financing something. And so there's a little bit of a ribbon going on.
I've commented numerous. I'm sorry, I've commented numerous times that was kind of the qualifier back in the day to your prowess, like your skill set to drive something like that. Is at least you grew up or you had some time on tools, or whatever, and you built it yourself. But how dangerous is it that you're able to, for 20, 30 grand right out the gate, because you saw your buddy doing it, and now you're wheeling something that you are not qualified to do, gives you a false sense of security, and next thing you know, you're tumbling down some dudes. Your kids are flying out. Not to mention the cooler of beer, all that stuff. Beers are hitting them in the head, all kinds of stuff. No, it's
people are rolling those things like crazy.
Because they're super fast, and to Matt's point, they don't have any experience. But I do disagree with the financing your fun. Like, I gave up on that build shit a long time ago, right? The CJ F that I don't want to keep it running. The minute I hit 60,000 miles on a vehicle, I'm looking for something new. Like my truck's approaching 60. And next year may be the year. Like it's
at top speed.
Yes, top speed.
Because you put that stupid.
I don't have. If we were in a position where I was like, oh shit, before we can go wheel again, I gotta go get under my vehicle and swap the axle. I just wouldn't wheel ever again. I would just never go off-roading ever again.
You go through the garage and go, there's my tools. Hey, there's a bowling ball. You know what? I'll just go do that instead.
I'll start golfing again. Like, it just
exactly.
If I'm not even kidding. That is not a joke.
Sounds fun.
That is not a joke. If I had to do repairs to keep my vehicle running and go off-roading, you would never see me ever again on the trail. Like, I just don't have the interest, the time, or the energy to do it. So, for those in the thread that are like, screw you guys for buying your side-by-sides, I don't know, man. I don't disagree.
When I talked about the, those not being safe or whatever, I didn't mean like they don't look fun as fuck. Like I would totally, dude. It's just they're very expensive,
Yeah.
But I would totally wheel.
Yeah,
one.
for sure. I'm just, I am a 100% okay with financing my fun. Like I'm not building shit. That doesn't mean anything to me. Like if we show up on a trail and you built something from scratch and be like, that's sweet. I'm going to go do 60 miles an hour. And
California elitist.
I don't care. I don't care if I sound like
I don't know, man. Those side-by-sides get pretty crazy. The shop behind our shop, they build those side-by-sides.
Yeah.
And they rip fucking down the street on their turbo fucking... They're near the turbos.
They're insanity. Absolutely.
Crazy.
Yep.
Going back to the side-by-sides, though, you could almost create a whole nother layer of side-by-sides with Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki, whatever, Can-Am, right?
Yeah.
Is that, I mean, as the side-by-side board starts to grow, is that ever something you're going to like assess and go, maybe we should break this off and do something different?
Yeah, absolutely. If it grows that big, could definitely break it off into its own forum or site or something like that, or we can break that down into subcategories. We kind of have like an unwritten rule that if something has about 1,000 posts or more about a specific thing, then it can be its own forum if it makes sense for it. So
a Land Cruiser forum.
Oh, is that?
There's a Toyota forum.
There's a Toyota forum
like,
there.
Got a Toyota forum,
yeah,
right?
and every all of the 10,000 messages on there is how many alternators do you carry in your Land Cruiser?
One.
Do you change the oil every week or every other week in your Land Cruiser?
What's an alternator?
Yeah. Jose just has a 96 Land Cruiser.
It's a 94.
It's a 90. Look. It started as a 94. It might as well be a 2000 because he replaces so many parts. That's all I'm saying.
Dude, I'm replacing 28-year-old parts.
Again, go finance your fund, bro.
Like,
You
when will you be done? I mean, at some point, you've replaced all the parts. It's just
You have a perfectly
it's-
good 2022 truck in your driveway.
It's cyclical. Like, well, now it's time to get back through those transmission parts or the knuckles again.
Yeah.
you know?
By the time he
Yeah.
changes the tail lights out, he's the next weekend he's now replacing the headlights. It's nonstop. So marketplace, you've got a vendor spot on there. What's the goal with that piece of the board?
Really just trying to help small business. So there's a lot of shops in there that are building. There's some we got a new guy right now that I just met at King of the Hammers that just joined, and DF Fabrication. He makes some awesome chassis that he's selling. So those are pretty sharp looking at those, but mostly just to support small businesses in there. Radial Dynamics is in there. He got in there as soon as he really first started getting his first patents, and he's been an awesome source of information for any kind of power steering type stuff. So, and now he's got a bunch of his equipment on rigs in 4400 cars and all kinds of cars. So, just to really kind of give them a place to sell their stuff and make people aware of who they are. So
That's awesome. I see that you've got a section called Watch, Listen, and Discuss, and you've been able to get some cut rate, second tier, defunct podcasts. To join.
Yeah, you got to start with those.
You got to start with somebody, right? I mean, you got to go the ones that are easy to get, right? The Snail Trail 4x4 and Wheeling Wine and Whiskey. Obviously I'm kidding. You guys know how much we coordinate and love those guys. Tell me about that piece of it, about the Watch, Listen, and Discuss, and because you and I have had some side conversations about it, but where that's different than I think I've ever seen on a forum. What's the idea behind that?
So some of those guys, I'm sure you guys do use Patreon for your membership, and it basically just brings their membership off there into here, and
That's exactly it. It's just the 5 of us that do use the Patreon
Yeah.
for our membership. Yes.
We
Gotcha.
we catastrophically failed at Patreon the first time around.
Well, we hesitated in doing it for.
We didn't want to do it for a long time,
and we decided to do it, and then we totally
did
fucked it up.
And we overcommitted, underdelivered. Which, if you're my wife, you're totally used to that. But everybody else. And so now we're trying to figure out what to do with that and what the next step is. So like, how are Snail Trail and the Wheeling Wine guys using Irate in this function?
So basically, what they do, they both have their own public-facing forums, and what I put a little code in the background so that every time they push a new show live, it grabs that show, it pulls it into a new thread, and grabs the pictures, any descriptions they have with it, and a link to where they can listen to it right on the site. And what it's for, what it was designed for, is so that they could come in and or their listeners could come in and talk about their that show if they have any questions or any of that kind of stuff. If they want to continue that conversation.
That's pretty cool.
Plus on that, they also have private forums you can't see for their members. So you can't see that from the front end, but there's private forums they each have where their members can go in and bullshit even more, or where they push like extra bonus content, they put it in there. So.
That seems like a really good, I'm going to use a stupid word here, but like a really good synergy of taking the content around the off-roading and the things that we do, putting it in a place that's already got
it's very symbiotic.
Symbiotic. That's synergy. And the symbiote, it's all the sins. I know all about the sins. But like, seriously, pushing the audio content of the podcast onto a platform that's already supported by all of the other stuff around it. It seems like a really good opportunity for a listener to be able to go listen to a show, and then at the same time, if there's a topic of conversation on the show, to start doing some of their own research inside the forums.
It's like 1 degree less of effort, like they have to put in. If they're on the forum already and they listen to the show, they can contribute there already.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. How long have the Snail Trail and Wheeling guys been up there?
Maybe it's a good question. 6-8 months, maybe.
Okay.
So it was something last summer. We just kind of brainstormed bullshit and talked about, and then we made it happen. So it's also got there are some ads on the site just to help pay the bills, but the ads are turned off on those guys' pages and available for them to use as well. So if there's some companies that are really helping support them, they can throw their graphics or their ads up for them, just kind of give a little love back. So
that's okay.
That's cool.
Yeah. the site gives. I think the site we're getting about like 1.8 million views a month. So that just helps them give them a little traffic to the people who are supporting them as well.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And then you've got the whole miscellaneous section of, like you said, chit chat and raffles and cooking and events and you know, as you continue going down, you get into racing, outdoor sports, and then classifieds. I got to imagine that's pretty active, where people are trying to sell parts and vehicles. And anybody selling anything good?
Yeah, there's always stuff on there. I can spend more time finding stuff I don't need on there than most. So
I was just gonna say,
yeah.
I probably would start like, oh hey, someone's selling blue balls. Blue balls 1986 Samurai. So
there you go.
I don't. Okay, it's blue. I get it. Very cool blue balls. I like it. It's a pretty built up Samurai. But now I need to see what else is on here. XJ parts, International Scout.
Oh, you're in the trash section.
A John Deere tractor.
The blue-balled samurai sounds like a category like on a porn site, you know?
Yeah, I want to know why now.
What's up with that?
What's in your search?
Yeah, that's.
I just said what it sounds like, Jose. I didn't say it's. I've already experienced it, but I might. Like, no, now I'm interested.
But this is pretty cool, where you've got that much traffic on the site to begin with, and then now people have an opportunity to post their whatever it is they have for sale in a community that's obviously more in tune than, say, Craigslist. You know what I mean? Like this is people that already want to do this stuff and want an off-road vehicle, and here you go. You know,
right? Yeah, works out well. Again, that's is one of the more popular sections, and that's one of the ones we kind of fine-tuned and renamed all of the forums to what they are. And again, it's a big community decision, and that's what they wanted, that's what we needed, and that's what we have up there.
Okay, how much do I need? I need some money and a ride to Texas. $16,000 and a ride to Texas to go pick up this full 2-buggy Ranger. So
16 grand. That's how much they want.
That's what it says. 16 grand. Austin can't
like
see it.
like an old Ranger.
Yeah, like an old Ranger, full 2-bodied out, and
that's actually not that bad.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's not that bad.
That's how it starts.
Oh, here you go.
Do that to yours,
Jose. Here's your 02 Land Cruiser. You can get a
02.
Yeah.
I don't have an 02.
I know you.
That's a 100 series, isn't it?
Yeah. So you
put it on the.
You can upgrade to an 02. That way you can change out less parts. I mean, you still have to change out parts.
So I can see why my check engine light is on.
Yeah.
So I can actually read the code.
It's the 100 series.
Yeah.
Mark Kaz from YOLO Wheeling has.
He has a 200.
Oh, he does have a 200. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right. But I mean, again, this. Damn it! I'm gonna be stuck here because it's a '74 FJ40 buggy. Like I can't. I'm gonna be stuck here, honey. I need. I think this is a really cool opportunity. Like again, to whatever you're selling, to put up on a marketplace that is already in tune with what you do. What is? There's a classify here called wanted. So much want. What?
That's when you get desperate and you start posting up.
That sounds like a Morrissey album title.
It does.
You know,
it does. Okay, so this is people that are like, I need a 1986 Chevy manual steering column. Does anybody have it? Wanted Dana 60. So you could go in here. You could go in here and start selling stuff. Jose, we could just start selling the 80 series off by pieces on the Irate 4x4 and get you enough money to buy that other 100 series.
Cool.
But so the as far as the classified sections go, like you just provide the spot for people to put it up, and then they coordinate on their own. Like, hey, I want to sell this. Yeah. Hey, I want to buy this. Like, you don't have to be involved in any of that.
Oh no, I don't touch any of that. That's all between the seller and the buyer, and it doesn't cost you anything to post those, or so just gotta create an account. That's it.
very cool. There's also a
So-
hauling section. It says need help moving something from point A to point B.
You might want to hold on to that section when you need to haul that 40
Yeah.
whatever, wherever it breaks.
Oh,
down.
that's the Ford section.
it has its own haul section.
You should move that next to the Ford. That's great.
This is so awesome. So people are like, "Hey, I need someone to help me get something from Bend, Oregon to Santa Maria." Like,
Right.
That's
What? Don't ask questions. I just
Shut
it,
up.
it weighs 500 pounds.
Just get here.
that's what you should rename this to the transporter. Like, it's Jason Statham. So yeah, okay. So then we'll take the new 100 series that you get, and we'll just drive things
There you
back
go.
and forth out
There
of the
you
hauling section. This is you can be the Uber, the irate Uber.
Yeah.
Irate Uber,
Yeah,
by the
but-
way, I've met that guy. He's not a good Uber driver. So how much of this was available day one of the site launch, and how much of it has evolved over time?
I'd say probably about 90% of what you're looking at was available day one. And then we kind of cut out a lot of forms and merged a lot of stuff and did some renaming and moving and stuff like that. So, but 90% of it was already day one, ready to go.
It's
So.
hold on one sec.
Sure.
I think it's right by on the counter next to my bedroom. Matt is going a potty, so I'm asking him to grab my water bottle while he's out.
While he goes to the bathroom?
After,
Yeah, that's a lot of trust.
Do
right
not
there.
fill up the water bottle. Do not fill up the water bottle, Matt. I'm going to check the seal.
This water looks
lemonade.
dirty. Just shut up and drink it.
I didn't
tastes like
ask
Busch
for
Light.
lemonade.
Tastes like cucumbers. So 90% of it was available, and are you seeing anything emerge on this site that is making you think that there's another, like, any changes that are going to come, or new boards that need to be created? Like, is there anything that's been up and coming, or has it been pretty stable in these categories?
It's been pretty stable in these categories. I think some people have asked, somebody comes in with some oddball thing and they put a request in, and the same people, everybody just tells me, we kind of got a guideline for that. So, but it's pretty stable here. I think we are going to add a new section here. So I hung out with Keith from Evolve Racing. We hung around the fire, had some beers with him at KOH, and we don't have an EV for him, and that's something that people have kind of asked for.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I mean, there's not a whole lot of it out there, but the old site back in the day was known for coming up with groundbreaking shit like 4-link suspension back in the day. That was something that was kind of pioneered there, and so we want to get the EV section up as soon as those guys are ready to start doing some posts. But I'm not going to put it up until there's somebody to post in there. But
that we were at Hammers as well, and there was a significant number of Rivians, and it's only a matter of time, right? That's going to be at some point. They're going to be just as common as anything else, and I think it's great to get out in front of it. And I do think that there's probably a lot of conversation for people that either are considering buying one or that have just bought one and go, shit, now I want to take it off road. How do I do this? Like, what's the details?
I saw a Tesla about halfway down the mountain yesterday at a call box.
What?
Ruh-roh.
I could only imagine, they were out of gas.
and cell phone battery.
I had to make a drive up to Thousand Oaks last week, and I saw 3 Teslas on the side of the freeway. Don't know what the deal was, but it was not a good sign from my perspective. Like, it didn't. I felt that's bad.
They were trying to use one to charge the other, then to charge the other.
Eventually, that's gonna happen. You're gonna plug a USB-C into your phone and stick it in your dash, and then it's gonna charge your car off of that. Yeah, I think that's a good one that I could see getting a lot of traction soon. Is there anything that when you started the site you were like, oh, this is going to be a hit? I know this is going to be, and it hasn't? Like, is there anything that surprised you like that?
Not really, not right off the bat. I mean, we had probably 3,500, 4,000 people, I would guess, that were on Pirate the day we all moved over. And it has kind of killed that. Everybody moved over, so I was happy about that. I don't know if there's much that we've tried that people have just flat out rejected. I think there was some of the free speech issues. I'm huge on free speech, so I want to let people, and may think that you're a dumbass or whatever, but I'll agree with you and listen to you and talk to you about it, you know? So, and I want to allow that as much as possible on the site. And so I came right out of the bat saying that, and I didn't realize, like I said, some of the issues that we got. I got the legal teams at our hosting company coming back at us for. So we did have to draw some lines, and to be honest with you, they're pretty small given how you act in public, you know.
Yeah.
So they're pretty minor things, but you know, you change your mind like that, or you're forced to change your mind. Everybody comes back at you like you're an asshole for doing it.
It's an evolution. It's an evolution, just like anything else. Like, you know, what I mean?
It's either that or take the site down.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah. Well,
exactly,
and the reality is, free speech is great, and yes, free speech, but there's no such thing as free speech without consequences. Like that's the line, right? Say what you want, but there may be consequences.
Fuck around, and you're gonna find out.
God, I just saw something.
You'll find out that the more you fuck around, the more you find out.
Yeah. Which of the forums which of the boards do you think you spend most time in?
You know, I probably spent about half as much time on this site as I did when I was like on Pirate. Just because
so many other things to do.
I always find something else I could be tweaking or working on or some shit. So I really spend more time probably following. So we sponsor or help sponsor a couple of the race teams that were in King of the Hammers that race Irate4. So I spend a lot of time watching their rigs and just checking out any of the new builds that are out there. So if something
Kevin Jones was in the chat room saying hi.
Who? Kevin who?
Kevin Jones.
I'm not. Who's he? Is that someone? Is that someone that we know?
Irate4 Jones.
Yes.
Irate4 Jones.
Yeah. He's Kevin Jones is Casey's man crush. He's if Casey was ever gonna switch
me
race
and Cody
teams.
fight over him.
So sponsoring the race teams. Now, how did that come about? Like, was that something that you found him on the forum and then kind of developed a relationship, or was that pre-forum? Tell me about that.
I mean, again, it's I really feel like it's not my space. I mean, it is my space, but it's not. So I'm trying to take whatever comes out of it and put it back into the community, helping however we can. So the one thing I did do that Pirate didn't do is we opened up a parts counter on there. So we sell a lot of off-road parts. So I kind of hook up with those guys that are trying to build their own rigs. So it's mostly the EMC guys.
Yeah.
And the kind of people that are on Pirate all the time, and hook them up with the best possible deals we can, as frequently and as often as we can, to get a little advertising space on their rigs. So that's a cool program. And then we have our own racing section. There's a hidden racing section too, where they can sit there and bullshit about rules or how to build what, or that kind of stuff. So really, again, it's really just trying to help build up the entire community, help them the best we can. So
you've got a whole section of swag. You've got a calendar on there. You've got groups where you've got several of the larger groups that probably, I would assume, like Black Hills, for example, like they just use this for their they use this as their primary method of communication and
yeah. There's a lot of local clubs that have reached out to put their own forum on here. So I can pick an admin on there and give him access to allow people just into their forums, so they can only allow paid members in, or however they want to manage it.
Yeah.
But it's basically so they can manage their local groups. So, and there's just some like Southeast Irate, so that's a lot of people, maybe down by where you guys are, who talk about getting out wheeling just for the weekend and shit like that. So they post up in there.
Well, aren't most people in the Southeast irate? I mean, I feel like that's just like the way it is over there.
Yeah.
No. Come on, dude. You've traveled enough. We are the worst, most impolite people in the country.
Who's we?
Southern California.
Have you ever seen that?
What do you mean, you people?
You people, yeah. Have you seen
that? Us people.
Have you seen that graph of the United States that's got the four corners, and it's like in the Pacific Northwest, in the Northwest, it's they act like they like you, secretly hate you, or whatever, or no, act like they like you.
Secret.
Act like they like you and really do like you. in the Northeast, like New York and New Jersey, they act like they hate you, but they actually really like you. In the Southwest where Florida is, they act like they hate you because they really hate you. And in California, we pretend to like you, but really hate you. It's like,
So I think the most accurate thing I saw, like comparatively, was like New Yorkers versus Californians. And New Yorkers will, like, if you're broken down on the side of the road, they'll talk to you like, "What the fuck did you do? What a fucking moron!" But they'll help you fix it.
Yes.
In California, you're broken down on the side of the road. Oh my God, I feel so bad for you. It's horrible, but we ain't helping you. Keep
But we're
on
on the way to
driving.
Starbucks, so we can't
Yeah.
stop and help.
That's
Here's
inaccurate
a
because
dollar.
we wouldn't even stop.
Yeah.
We wouldn't even tell you like, oh, that's too
100,
bad.
100%. It's
We just posted on Instagram.
Yep. This guy totally ruined my
Was broken
commute to
down.
work. It's now
Exactly.
an hour and 12 minutes instead of the hour 8 that Waze told me it was going to be. So what's next? Like I feel like you guys, you made the switch, you built this up, you've been maintaining it over time. It's grown a community. You clearly have a community of people that are actively participating in this. Where do you see the site going next, and what kind of things are you trying to do going from here?
I think probably one of the next biggest things when Apple gets its thumb out of its ass and they update their operating system is, and not to get too nerdy with the shit, but it's called push notifications. So you can basically take the site. I got the site built to where you can install it. You guys are laughing already. You can take the site and install it as an app on your phone, and then it will receive notifications anytime somebody replies to your post or sends you a PM or any of that kind of stuff. So I think that's going to be huge, especially with a lot of the people that love like Instagram and Facebook for that very reason.
Yeah,
because there's always that instant gratification that comes back from those places whenever somebody likes your post. It's just fucking impossible to follow a build on there. So I think once that kind of stuff comes around from that operating system, from those operating systems, it'll help a lot. So
is there a mobile app for it now?
We had one before, but it didn't work quite as well. Everybody was using the browser instead. So Android already allows you to do that. So if you have an Android device,
of course they do.
Right.
Of course they do. Because they don't treat you like a 3-year-old. They know that you're a smarter person than that if you're using an Android device, and they can trust you to be able to use it without having to go to a Mac bar for a genius to help you. That's all. I'm just saying.
Right. Apple's just being greedy and lining their pockets by making you do apps.
Really? That surprises the shit out of me. Like, that is news to me. Nobody else?
So.
No comments?
Look, bro, you're the only one that has that green fucking bubble. And it's annoying. All right.
I love.
Your OnePlus that operates on Ting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your OnePlus fucking
T-Mobile.
phone.
It's T-Mobile.
It used to be Ting. Ting's
Yeah.
not in business anymore. But it's probably, what's the other one, like
Cricket.
No.
Boost Mobile.
Hey, Betty White's got it correct. Cody's over here on his pedestal again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm sorry, Mint Mobile.
Oh, dude.
Just because you're into Ryan Reynolds.
I would totally. I looked at it, man. I almost switched to Mint. I mean, he's dreamy. He is dreamy. So the mobile apps, the push notification. Anything else? What other maybe less technical things are you looking forward to building out on the site?
We got two things. Our parts counter and our swag store are getting a huge overhaul right now. That's one thing. The only thing I drastically underestimated when I was launching this is how many people would want swag, and what a pain in the ass it is. I don't know if you guys manage your guys' stuff.
Oh yeah, it's so tired of people trying to get trail chaser stuff.
Nobody. We
It's horrible.
we have a shop.
I think-
Nobody wants that
I
shit.
think we're trying to pay people to wear
Yeah.
shit.
Nobody
Please
wants
take-
our shit.
Hey man, who wants a shirt?
No, nobody
Just
wants.
a bunch
Yeah,
of heads
no.
like shaking. Not really.
Get over here,
You?
put on his fucking shirt.
Yeah. Nobody wants our shit.
So we got new stores rolling out, and the cool shit is it's going to be available for all the vendors as well. So like Snail Trail guys, if you guys end up hopping on there, you'll be able to throw your swag up in there, and being able to control the background, I can, all that money goes straight through you. It doesn't touch me at all. Same way with those guys and their memberships. So looking forward to offering that to not just shows like yourself, but also like the race teams. Like I got a bunch of swag from the guys that I support there at KOH, and it'd be awesome to let them throw that up there somewhere. So that whole e-commerce platform that we're getting ready to roll out is going to be pretty huge.
That's awesome. And I got to imagine that there's, as you roll those out, there's going to be more back end moderation required. I know you're not doing all of it. Like how many?
Yeah,
how many people?
Back end moderation.
Nobody wants to touch that one.
Yeah,
dude, you saw me shaking my head. I was like,
I saw
anybody want that?
Who
I
supports
said
your
back
back
end moderation, not back end manipulation. Very different.
Well, sometimes you got to moderate the back end too. I agree.
Look, back end
Too much of a good
masturbation.
thing.
That's your whatever. So how many people are
who's back end?
yes? How many people are actively helping you keep this thing going?
I think we have 8 or 9 moderators right now. So they're on there quite frequently. So that, like I said, the community does an amazing job kind of policing themselves. And the second they find something, there's a little report button. They click it, and whether or not we're on or not, the moderators get some kind of a little pop-up to go there and check out and do whatever they have to do.
That's interesting because so going back to, and again, I'm not, I wasn't very active on Pirate, but I do remember that part of the thing with Pirate was the debauchery, the things, the things getting out of hand, right?
It seems like that'd be a natural thing for you.
It would.
Debauchery.
So I'm curious to know your thoughts on if
what was your username on there? Just throwing it out there.
I do not know. I'm curious.
Gross.
I'm curious to know if you think that
Little kid lover.
yeah.
PJ 95.
NAMBLA member 1.
Nambla.
NAMBLA 1.
Or 2.
Is it do you think that the original these guys are losing their shit. So I'm going to equate it to the first marriage. So in the first marriage, it was a complete catastrophe, but
You're going down a dark hole
all
right
of the
now.
wrong things
Please
to
stop. Please stop.
First marriage, everybody
Why is it we're going down a dark space? You're leading us there. You were driving this ship right into the pit of despair.
Nobody should follow me.
And
you know
debauchery. Okay, I'm sorry. You were referencing debauchery, and that's where we're going.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
yes,
My apologies.
perfect.
You're doing a great job.
I'm saying everybody should have a first marriage because you're gonna fuck it up, right? And then the second marriage is where you get it right. Is there any validity to the fact that Pirate, because of the experience that users had on the first round, that changed their perspective coming here and go, whoa, we don't want to, this can get out of hand quick if we're not paying attention. Let's do a better job.
Some of that, but you know what? I don't, it's not my job to change the community from who we were. I'm not trying to change that.
No, I'm just curious if you think it had an impact. Do you think that experience had an impact on this one?
It does quite a bit, and it's hard to get through. So we've been getting a lot of members that have come back that were run off after after it was sold. So, and the big thing is, hey, I used to be able to post, my girlfriend's tits or whatever on there, and now we got to move that to a private forum.
Where's that? So where do I find the private
what was
forum?
Please in the chat.
I'm not seeing the private forum.
Austin,
anywhere.
if in the chat bar you could share a link.
Drop a link somewhere.
There's only 19 of us in there this week, but it might bump up next week if you did.
What back end forum was that?
Yeah. So, I mean, that was the thing back in the day.
The front top end.
The front top end, right? There's a forum for that. There's a, but no, back in the day, that stuff was okay. 10, 15 years ago. Nowadays, you can't do that. Otherwise, whoever that was, your girlfriend at the time, is going to find it, and your ass is going to be in trouble. Type shit. So, I think the way the times have changed has been kind of hard for some people to kind of accept on there, but
stupid chicks,
they
ruined it.
Right.
That's Matt at trailchasers.net.
Send me a complaint, please.
Sure.
I check my emails
Right.
every other month. Yeah, every once in a while.
Send me the picture you're complaining about.
Yeah.
With your complaint.
Exactly. See here, Austin already knows. You're good, dude. You're very good.
There's some interesting stuff on the chit chat section. I haven't gotten to your girlfriend's boobs yet, but I mean,
10 years ago.
You're working your way up.
Yeah, it's from 10 years. He was just referencing. Who knows? You know, it's a 10-year-old comment. You know, as far as relevance.
It's his wife now.
I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to say that.
And now he's the one going, can you do me a favor and take that down?
Take that down, please.
It's kind of disrespectful how my wife's boobs up there.
Had a few drinks and I fucked up.
Yeah, she just found out about this from 2012.
Honey, I was just bragging to the guys about how great your boobs were, and so I shared them. I'm sorry.
They're not
it was
great
a good
anymore?
thing. It was a good thing.
So they're not great anymore?
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
Frozen in time. They were amazing.
Perfect. Post your sex toys, 35% off. So again, there's a little bit of everything for everybody here. I got to imagine that this is a lot of effort on your part. Like it just keeping this going. It was a ton of effort to get it going, and keeping it going. It can't be easy. And I mean, there's what do we say, over 6,000 people here that kind of on their behalf. Thank you for doing this. I mean, it's one of those things that, like, you know, as a community, we're always looking for places to connect, and whether that be social media or forums or or podcasts or whatever. But having the ability to find like-minded people with a commonality that want to have a good time and go off-roading and share their experiences, and I think one of the things that forums has always been great for is helping people figure out how to do things. I got a question. I'm going to go to the experts. I'm going to find the people that have done it before and get some good information. So, I mean, that's commendable that you're able to pull that off, and you've been able to keep it going for as long as you have.
as a Nissan owner, that's all you're going to get any information from is forums. There's nothing official anywhere, you know, it's just forums.
I know. So what's on the Nissan board?
Is there a Nissan?
Yeah.
No.
The second one, it's a Nissan, not a Ford. I don't know what that is. Poor man's Toyota, that's on there.
They're not wrong.
We don't deny that.
Yeah, they're not wrong.
2000 Frontier Beater. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff on here for you Frontier people.
They're all beaters. I mean,
they're not.
You beat them. Beat them.
Well,
They keep going
because you can. Yeah. But again, that's going back to that, Matt. That's the Nissan community in the off-road world has been underserved for a long time. And here's a place where you can go, right? If you've got a Unimog or a Frontier or something, here's a place you can go to find people either in your area, find people to wheel with, find people that can help you with your questions. I mean, this is a great resource for anybody that's trying to, either get into, stay into, or assist people in this community.
Right. It's definitely different than so forum. That's all there was forums back in the day, and social media came around, and people jumped on the new hotness there, and understandably, it was pretty cool. And but one of the biggest things that they don't offer that forums do is, first, like we kind of joked about, it's a pain in the ass to follow a build thread or anything like that on Instagram or anything like that. But another big thing is everybody's taking their posts there and sharing information, which is awesome. But that stuff doesn't show up in search engines. So Pirate today still gets a shitload of traffic, which is why that company bought it. They put like 20 something ads on a page, which is why they want it. That's the only reason they wanted that. And so people are like, I still land on Pirate, and that's because everybody jumped ship from forums and went to social media. And none of that stuff for the last 10 years or so is in search engines. So this forum itself does land in the search engines, and it makes it a lot easier to start finding any of the kind of the tech that you're looking for when you're working on your rig. So.
That's a great point. That's something I didn't think about. Like how 100%. to XYZ. You're not going to find it on Instagram or Facebook or
Especially because I hate Facebook, and I'm not.
I do not.
I'm not going on there.
I do not.
I fight enough people like in my life regular. I got to fight people on internet. F that.
Yeah. There's there's a definite advantage to that when people are trying to find information on their build or their problem or that kind of thing. I didn't think about. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. About the like when you search on it, you're not going to find an Instagram.
That's news to me.
Yeah.
Like I don't. How would I know that? You know.
Right.
Matt, did you know that the forums back in the day, like they don't show up in search engines? What's a search engine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forums.
That thing Google, that sounds stupid.
Yes.
You mean where the Lakers used to play?
Yes.
It's the Great Western Forum.
The Great
Yeah.
Western Forum. I'm
Sorry.
very familiar.
It's a poor.
Yeah, the
attempt
search
at a
engines
joke.
is it's huge. It's a huge thing, and not. So we also, if you're a racer on the forums and you let us know about it, and if we sponsor you, we also let you put your sponsors' ads on your posts. So if you're getting sponsored by King or King Shocks or whoever it is, you can put them in there. So it's just another piece they can go offer, whoever it is that they're trying to get parts from, just so they can get out there and fucking do what I want to do, be racing. So any way we can help them, we do that. I don't know if this is too corny to read this, but I'm going to if it's cool with you guys.
Absolutely.
But
Do it.
going
Wait,
back
hold
to
on.
the search,
Look at this is where corn comes to die. Like this is this.
My
Or-
second
or
middle
thrive.
name is corny.
Yes.
I would
It
say
starts
this is
with
where
that
corn
there.
comes
Yeah,
to thrive,
this
not
is,
die.
This is the corn hub. It is.
Corn Hub, is that where you go?
That's just for people in Nebraska.
Corn hub.
It's like a special.
We've been doing it all wrong.
Now
Cody.
I
Nebraska.
You should try another one. Sounds like Corn Hub, but it's a
You're-
different place.
You're one letter away, dude.
You're almost there. Dude.
How do you know that's not exactly what I'm looking for?
You know what? I'm
Now
gonna look
I
it
know
up.
what Corn Hub is. I probably don't. Let me log out of my work browser.
Yeah, use a different computer.
Yeah,
Whatever you do.
Matt searched for that stuff at my house when he's
Yeah,
sitting here at my
100%.
house
Anything-
on my computer.
Anything in question right here is where
He waits.
I
He,
look up.
he shows up with a list
I'm
on
not,
his.
I might be naive,
Of
but I'm not
keywords
that
that he's
dumb.
gonna search.
He shows up with a list on his notes app, and he's like, "Upper decker. What is that?"
Exactly. I'm sorry, Austin. What was
go
your
ahead.
your corn post?
Just touching base on how effective the search engines are for your build, and more importantly for these guys that are building race rigs. I had one of the guys that we helped sponsor a little bit. I'm not going to say his name or anything because he sent me this in a private message, but I'll read it real quick. He goes, maybe you already didn't know it, maybe you do, but you've got some pretty big eyeballs watching stuff on here. Fox Corporate, Tire Co., Falcon Shocks. Since posting that thread, he's got a build thread on here. He goes, I've had more people reach out to me, which I've never had happen before, to offer sponsorship, like more than I can handle. He goes, I want to thank you personally, first of all, and let you know whatever you're doing is working. I hope things are good on your end, but you're definitely doing something right. I'm being thanked for using that forum format for a build thread instead of the algorithm-based social media. So congrats, and again, thank you for giving us a home to do such a thing.
That is awesome.
That right there, that's
awesome.
first time I read that, tiny bit of allergies, it's expensive to do that shit. So it's awesome that these guys are using this to help build their rigs, and that's 1,000% what I want out of it.
It validates the forum. You know,
Yeah.
it's like,
Right.
you know what? I'm gonna go here for like real advice other than a social media based place.
I was going to say, so because I think we've all, on the various social media platforms, we've all seen where there's an account that you're like, how does that person only have 2,000 followers? And other ones where you're like, how does that person have 20,000 followers? Like,
Right.
whatever the black magic is happening in the background to make those things, there could be someone with really, really solid information doing a great build with a fantastic story behind it that will never, ever be found on any of the social media platforms because it just doesn't feed correctly. It just doesn't
Right.
resonate for some reason. Whereas somebody like some of those companies you mentioned that's looking for, I want to find a guy or a girl, and they go on these forums and they're like, wow, the way they're building that suspension and I can see that they have some knowledge of it. Now I feel good about reaching out to this person, and it's a story that I want to tell that maybe never could ever bubble up to the top of the viral social media platforms.
Right. So that thing, and it's kind of another thing that's on our list to do is to really help these guys get their own analytics to help track that stuff. Because as much as that is, I mean, we can see that it's helping these guys build their rigs. It's the unfortunate part is when these guys go out to seek some sponsorship or whatever, one of the company's first questions is how many followers do you have on Instagram? Then how many do you have on? Well, we don't do Facebook that much, but we care about this platform or this platform, and so that's kind of the uphill battle that we've been fighting with for a little bit. But it's awesome to see that starting to come around once those marketing people on their own are able to just use a search engine and find shit. So find these guys. So
I think it's awesome, man. It's a whole nother aspect of this kind of a platform that I didn't think about. And I gotta believe, at least from my limited experience, that there's a more, and you guys are gonna bomb me for this, but a more intimate connection with people on this type of a platform, where it's back and forth interactions, answering questions for each other, as opposed to a scrolling through Instagram and I know that person, and
but so that's
that's
how you differentiate like from a Facebook to Instagram type of situation where you're looking for information. But now this seems like a much more valid and tested means for if you're looking for builds or whatever, how do you get that out to the people? Like, hey, you know what? Don't go to Facebook if you're looking at a build or something.
Yeah,
I don't know, but it seems it's very obvious, the advantages of Irate4x4 opposed to social media. Like social media is such a, it's like a.
It's a pastime.
A sluice, where you're just like, there's a bunch of shit coming down. Somebody's flushing a fucking toilet.
Shit sluice?
And a shit sluice. It's a shit sluice you're sitting there. You're the one going through the shit, with your fucking screen. And like, maybe you catch something good. But it's mostly crap,
I don't think anyone's like fishing for likes on a forum. You know what I mean? They're genuinely there because they want to share information.
Right.
They want to get information.
No, that's true.
And I think
they want to have a conversation. They're not just like, how many likes can I get off of this?
Can I just
putting in a shock?
Right.
I'll just say
exactly.
The Shit Sleuth is playing Coachella
Are
this
they?
year.
Are
If I just want to make sure that hashtag Shit Sleuth. That's mine. Nobody can take that.
Remnants of Evil is opening up for them.
Is it a shit sluice like in a
Sluice.
bobsled, or a shit sleuth? Because a shit sleuth would have to do some investigation.
That's a shitty job.
It is. Both of them are shitty.
Neither of them
not
sound good.
They're not good.
Low hanging fruit.
But so going back to that though, I agree, and I feel like for me, social media is more of a pastime where it's just a take your mind off of something and you want to see pretty objects as you're scrolling through. Whereas the forum is way more active. It's way more, I need to go find some information and I'm going to then interact with it, as opposed to just double tapping for likes.
To comment, CJ Varndo
That's Jason Varndo.
Okay. Oh shit. Hey, Jason. Forums are crowdsourced libraries. Without them, we'd still be thumbing through greased up pages of old manuals, Chiltons, and whatever. That's
Playboy, all those.
I was trying to keep it straight.
Well, he said greased up. He said greased up. I just made the assumption that it was one of those.
That's sticky.
Oh, that's
yeah,
right.
Exactly.
You got me there.
You're working on.
You got me there.
You're pulling the heads on something, and your hands are all greasy.
You're pulling the head.
That's not grease.
That's
Hashtag that's not grease.
oh my goodness. But it's still a great comment.
That is weird. It is. Look, dude, we've been going back and forth trying to get you on here. Thank you for not impeding on our ability to keep our wives happy last week at Valentine's Day, because that was a problem. But this is you've built something here that I think is very commendable and is validated by the amount of traffic and the interactions that you've had with people. And it's I'm super impressed. I'm very glad that we got the chance to connect, because we've had some background conversations about some stuff that I definitely want to continue having with you about kind of how this fits into what we're trying to do. And you've done an amazing thing here, dude. I mean, you should really you probably have too much work to like stop and sit back and look at it for a minute, but from an outsider's perspective, looking at the amount of content and connection and interaction and community you've built here. Kudos, dude. Very, very cool.
Yeah. Thanks. I'm glad everybody liked it and they moved over. So that was the most I could ask for. So I'm glad everybody's using it and the old gang's still together, so to speak.
Awesome. Well, everybody, if you haven't already, go log in to Irate4x4, set up an account. We will we'll start figuring out how to use that to our benefit going forward. And we didn't tell you to not hang up, but we're going to say goodbye for the night. Don't hang up on the call just a minute. And but I really do appreciate you coming on the show, telling us your story. It's been really fun talking to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Austin.
Yep.
See you, Austin.
All right, so we're going to end the recording there for the podcast. We are still live, so don't say anything that you don't want to
about Caitlyn Jenner.
About Caitlyn Jenner or your girlfriend's boobies.
I'm told that she drives a manual 3rd-gen Tacoma.
that was referenced in the forum, validating that comment. Yes,
with a broken tranny. Yeah.
That's too easy.
Too soon. Sorry.
So I will get this edited tomorrow after work and get it uploaded to the media host. I'll send you an email once it's up and running and ready for download. It'll be ready for download Thursday morning, and we'll then do our we try to do our social media posts Thursday and or Friday to promote the show.
Cool.
You and I definitely need to catch up and talk about a couple other things. Probably next week. The rest of my week's fairly busy. But definitely want to have a discussion about where we go from here.
Cool. Yep, we can do that.
So, okay. Well, then anything else, we'll let you go. We're going to do a little bit of chit chat about other stuff and then go from there.
Nope, that's it. I appreciate the time, guys.
Awesome, man.
Sir.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
All right.
Thanks,
See you
man.
guys.
Night.
All right. So you guys ready? 3, 2, 1. All right. Thank you to Austin for joining us. That was awesome conversation. Looking forward to spending some more time at Irate4x4.
For sure.
Especially
because I want to Titan swap my Frontier.
Yeah.
To try and pick up some tips and tricks.
Yeah. It's probably there. So we went to Hammers.
He just blew right through. Yeah, well,
you're not gonna do it.
I saw. I mean, it was like next weekend, Matt, or
No. Just
6 months from
sometimes
now, or?
in the future.
He's not gonna do it. He's not gonna do it. Calendar wise, when did today's the 21st? So when was our weekend trip to Hammers? Was that 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago. Well, week and a half.
Yeah. So
2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks.
we went out. Jose and Matt bailed because they're
Whoa.
losers.
Whoa.
And then we'll tell a story about how we ran into Matt. But
Semi-loser.
I forgot to tell you, Cody, when I was airing up at Boone Road on that Saturday morning leaving, I hear, Casey! What the fuck is Casey? I look out on the highway, it's Joe K. He goes,
it's funny, he was in town.
He was busy with work or whatever, but he was headed to go do Pioneer Town up to Big Bear.
Yeah, and while he was up in Big Bear, he got me on his ham radio. I was talking to him.
Shit.
I was talking to him while we were in Johnson Valley. He sent me a link to where he was on the other side of the world practically.
Yeah.
So
Come on, why don't you go through your step by step?
I am. I'm just trying to write the names of people there because I didn't write them down earlier. So myself, Casey, Casey's wife Susan, Duty Driven Mark, Mark from YOLO Wheeling, Shy, Nicole, and Scott all came out at some point for the weekend. We went out Wednesday night, ended up camping at our traditional camping site, although I think we found a better spot for next year. That was Wednesday. Thursday, Casey showed up. Everybody started we decided to go wheeling, and we didn't really wheel, did we? We kind of went and saw there was a spot to watch the races. Not
once
far
you're
away.
at the Hammers, you're wheeling.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
anywhere you go, you know what I
True.
mean, you're wheeling. It's
True.
not like we didn't take I-5 over to our viewing area, you know.
So we went over and watched some races at a fairly close spot, and then
the side-by-side races.
Yeah, and then went to a different area where we could see him coming down this hill, and we had lunch and sat there and
well, it was Shy. Shy's the ones that let's go over here. We went over there.
So that's what I was saying. So
what's in that canyon? He said,
that
I don't know. We'll follow you.
I will say that I didn't have a lot planned. I didn't have trails mapped out, and Shy did an amazing job of just like taking the lead in a lot of cases. I was like, yeah, we'll follow you. So we were at a spot watching some races, and there were some rangers there on not Ford Rangers but park rangers on dirt bikes, and everybody was talking to them, and they took off and went down this trail and up and over this hill. And we'd seen a couple of the vehicles go that way, and Shai was like, hey, let's go see what's over there. And I'm like, sure. And so we get up and over, and this is now the afternoon. It's now like 1 o'clock at this point. We get going. We get up and over. There's a good hard turn on a hill climb that's off camber a little bit, and we get a couple spots. And of course, Shai is driving. And for those of you that don't know Shai and haven't wheeled with Shai, picture like
perfection.
Yes, like picture
just
he's got this Forerunner that is
perfect,
very unassuming. Like you wouldn't think it's built up,
but it takes the perfect line.
It's like robotic.
Stops.
It's like a NASA built Forerunner with hover capabilities whenever it's necessary.
And stealth hover.
It's that cool, calm, collect, like
demeanor.
like sort of
Dude,
demeanor that he has.
He says he's a chef. I don't
were at
buy
the-
it, dude. I don't
We
buy
went up
it.
to the base of this hill, and then Shai went up, and then he was stopped. And I'm like, what's going on, Shai? He's like, oh, I'm just picking my line. And then he just disappeared.
Yeah. And then you get over there, and you're like, there's no line. There's no line. What line did he pick? How's he over there? So Shai went, and the trail was it was fun. It was fun. It was everybody was doing it. It was
cool.
good. And then we got to a spot where it was like, okay, you know how you get to those spots on a trail and you're like, you can physically see the end of the trail where it dumps onto the flat desert, and it's 200 yards away, 100 yards. It's not far. You're like, I can walk there. But God damn it, I'm not going to be able to drive there. It was like it veered off, and we're like, Casey, Shai, and we're like, oh, there's no.
I ran most of that
Yes.
trail because Cody was down stacking rocks. I had to drive my truck down, go run up, get Cody's, or drive Cody's truck down, run up, get my truck, drive it down,
It was
Cody's truck down, and then
Yes.
drive my truck down.
It was one of the gnarlier trails that we've done, to the point where Shai made it through, but as I was guiding Shai down, I was also chucking rocks and like, oh shit, he's gonna fall off of that, and we got to figure this out. So I had to build up some spots. We got Shai through, and then did you come through? You came through next. You came through before
Nicole came next.
Oh, that's right. So
and then Susan, and then I took your truck.
no, I drove my truck down. You brought
I
it down.
got it down to the
yes.
to the beginning. Yeah.
And then, but it was it took several hours to get 5 vehicles through there.
Yeah, but 200 feet.
Yes, it was less than 100 yards. And then we got all of the vehicles down. Scott Wolfesteg wasn't with us. He doesn't have his Forerunner anymore. He now has a Dodge Ram 3500 quad cab long bed. It is
wow.
It is the Queen effing Mary. This thing is so big. So we get all of them down.
Put the same tent on the back. The tent, it looks like
it looks like the top of a trash can. It's like
it's so tiny, dude.
So
compared to that truck.
And while we're doing that, there was a group of
3 or 4.
Yeah, I don't want to use the word douchebag. I was trying to think of something else. There was another group that was like, "What are you guys doing?" And so this one guy, brand new Raptor, decides to squeeze into our group and just come through. And I swear that there was about 5 guys going left turn, right turn, do this, do that, and Casey and I stood back and we're like, no, just let that. I think
Shai told me I was trying to guide him at first before his buddy showed up, and Shai said, "Hey,
Yeah, Shai's like, no, that's their deal. Let them do
You
it.
don't want to be responsible for that. I said, yeah, you're right. I just want to video it.
It was I very much thought that raptor wasn't going to make it. At one point, I thought it was going to get cockeyed and stuck between two rocks. So it finally got through. But that gives you an idea of how bad it was. And then
because a raptor had problems going through. I mean, all right,
whatever. And then so we got to the point where Casey was about to he was on the radio with Mark, Duty Driven, and he was like, all right, man, what do you want to do? And Casey and I both got on the radio and were like, do not hesitate to turn around. Like I don't know.
I had a plan. I was like, I think I can get you through this. This is how we're gonna have to tackle it. He said, I think I'm gonna turn around. I said, it's your truck. I'm already at the bottom. I don't care what you want to do.
So
I'll tell you one thing. I ain't coming back up to help you out of there.
Well, guess who did? So I ended up hiking 4 freaking miles with Mark because we had to turn him around.
Stop it.
Okay.
That's half as much as I did. Bringing your truck
okay, but look,
the entire trail.
I'm 8 years older than you, and I'm way more broken. So we
confirmed. We
got Mark turned around, and there were quite a few spots where I was out walking in front trying to guide him through, and then we made it back down to the other side of the hill, and then took the long way around to get back to where our trucks were. My point, like, it was a non-planned, let's see what's over here type of trail, and it ended up being super challenging, super fun, and took like 3-4 hours. And by the time we were done, it was like everybody was like, people were like, "What are we doing next?" We're going back to camp. That's exactly what we're doing. I'm going back to camp. Yeah. I'm having a cocktail, and I'm done for the night. And that's what we did. We went back. It was obviously cold as shit because it's always cold out there for this trip. And we hung out by the campfire. And I was in bed super early that night.
No way, you stayed up late.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
What
that's
the hell
right.
is Cody doing?
That's right.
It's 11 o'clock.
That's right. It was the first night I was up late for some reason. But I did tell you that I have a power pack now, and I have a new electric blanket, a 110-volt electric blanket. I'm going to do a whole conversation about this later.
We should talk about.
I win the desert. I win.
Oh yeah, Casey. Okay, we'll talk about Casey's in a minute, but my power pack and electric blanket, super duper dialed in. Like it'll run for 8 hours. Even at medium temperature on the electric blanket, I was warm and comfortable all night long. That is like the way to go from now on. At least in my mind. Casey's gonna argue that his toxic fumes spewing into his face is the right way to go.
I had the electric blanket underneath us, and then I had the diesel heater on low.
Dude, that just seems too fucking hot.
Yeah, I mean, how
no
cold
way,
was
dude.
it?
It was cold.
Yeah, but it wasn't as cold as it was last year.
I slept in my chonies with just a blanket.
All right.
Yeah, so did I. I mean, I didn't need. In the past, I've slept out there with the thermals, the pants. You don't even take your jacket off when you climb into bed. You still have your beanie on. I was just in I think maybe some pajama pants and a t-shirt. Like it was still I was totally comfortable.
Like in my thong and everything. No, straight up, I had just I woke up the next morning and was like, "Fuck you, desert! I win."
It was Casey's diesel heater is very cool. Casey, how much diesel fuel did you use each night?
It's a 5-liter tank. I probably use like half each night.
How many cups is that?
liters.
Yeah, like can you Americanize that?
5
That's
liters.
like,
How many eagle
I want to
wings
say
or
that's
whatever?
like 1 3/4 bald eagles.
Okay, all right. No, that seems fair.
So how much did you bring for the week for the entire weekend?
3 times more than I needed.
So less than a 5-gallon tank. So you use less.
Okay, no. So I brought the actual fuel tank for it is 5 liters. I filled that up, and then I brought an additional. I probably brought an extra 5 liters.
Again, how many freedom units is that?
I'm literally.
Thank you, Daywalker.
I want to say the 10 liters is equal to like a Rotopax.
I'm trying to picture it in the
Speak American, damn it.
I'm trying to picture it in soda bottles. So how much is a soda bottle?
How many
That's a
beers?
2 liter, right?
Like whatever.
That's a
America.
2 liter.
So,
Speak to me like I'm an American, for Christ's sake.
I think that the 10 10-liter one that I have is equivalent to like a 2.5-gallon Rotopax.
And Mark wants to point out.
So
that
I probably did like half a gallon of diesel in one night.
Mark wants to point out that the
Thank you.
physical activities in your tent was probably what kept you warm more than anything.
Maybe it might have been.
It was the first weekend trip that they didn't have the baby with them, and we were all warned. We were all warned that it was going to be that they needed to park far away from the rest of the campers.
We almost caught the tent on fire.
We had a lot of friction.
The air was dry.
We were spelunking.
So you're happy. You're happy with it. Would you do anything different with your diesel heater?
I'd probably turn the heater blanket lower because I had it on high, and then turn the diesel heater like way up because I think that'll help with conserving the power on the power pack.
So
those diesel heaters though on high, they go through a lot more diesel. Like
I can't imagine it on high. He had it on like low, and it was like
those things get fucking hot, dude.
Hot and a significant amount of volume out of that hose, right?
That's right.
I mean, Casey's hose was delivering. It was delivering more volume than I could consume at one time. It was, and what. On my blanket, I had my blanket set at a 3. It's got a from 1 to 6. I had it set right in the middle. And it used, I'd say, 75%. If the battery pack was fully charged, it would use 75% for the night. I can't, and I was warm. I can't imagine that the blanket on high plus the heater. I'd be too hot to sleep.
No, it was nice, dude. It was. Nice.
There's so many comments coming up in the chat room that for whatever reason, my keyboard doesn't work tonight. But God, it's like I've been muzzled or whatever.
Oh my God! Right. This is so awesome. Casey's wife is in there, and she's confirming that the volume is sufficient. As
kudos to you.
Well, it
Casey,
was up until a couple weeks ago,
providing the volume needed.
Yeah,
for the task at hand.
It was. I'd be willing to bet that today
on low. Like
I'd be willing to bet today. His volume is significantly less than it was 6 months ago. But did the remote, because you had a remote on that thing, right? Are you?
I didn't even use the remote. I put it on. The diesel heater was on low.
Is it possible to put a thermostat on that thing? So you can put a thermostat inside the tent and say, I want to keep it at 64 degrees.
You could take the remote, like the control panel, and extend the wires, and you could put that in the tent and put it on like a thermostat mode, and then tell it I want it to be 60 degrees or whatever. That's just I wanted to just have it all housed permanent. I know that if I'm using it, it's because it's cold as shit, and I'd rather wake up and go, wow, it's kind of fucking hot in here, than like this fucking thing isn't working right, like.
Why does it smell so funky in here? Like
it
smelled like sex and candy in there the whole time.
Candy. It smells like sex and Miller Lite. That's what it smells like.
Yeah, dude. I'm all in on the diesel heater.
Interesting. I would like to try it, but I don't. I mean, that's usually the coldest trip. When we do hammers,
they all seem like the coldest trip.
It's the coldest trip. Times. And I feel like don't do that. Don't blow in the microphone.
I think it was colder when we went after Christmas.
Yes, I agree.
Or before Christmas.
Before Christmas. Early in December, it was colder. Agreed. But my like the comfort I had with just the blanket seemed like more than enough, and it was a way simpler setup.
So, I wasn't able to participate in, testing my gear on that Titan pack, but I did when I got my fridge and the Titan pack. I right out the gate just plugged the fridge into the Titan pack. It ran that fridge for 3 days.
Oh yeah,
3 days. That's pretty rad, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I want to do a full write up on the Iron Man Titan pack because we got the opportunity to use those.
What do you have that fridge set you, Matt?
35 degrees.
That's what I put it to. 3 days, yeah.
Yeah.
The So that was the gnarly trip. Gnarly Trail was on Thursday. Friday we had originally planned on doing Rattlesnake Canyon, but because we had the 2 larger vehicles with us and everybody was pretty well good with the trip on Thursday.
But Mark had done it before.
Yeah. But we just
well,
decided.
Scott showed up Thursday night as well as Mark from YOLO Wheelin'.
Yeah.
Just to put that out.
So
there.
yeah, so
but Mark, Duty Driven, has done that trail in his giant ass truck.
he has.
I don't even think he had the 37s yet.
The
when
first time he
it.
didn't. The second time he did.
But either way, it's like you throw that at Scott and whoever else and go, hey, man, this guy's already done it. So take the damage or not. Like, you should do it.
No, everybody was comfortable with not doing it after the day. So we ended up just kind of tooling around and going to different Chocolate Thunder. We went to the backside of Chocolate Thunder. We went to a couple different places to watch the race. And we haven't done that in a while. It's been a while since we spent the day just
focusing on the race,
just paying attention to the race. Exactly. And it was cool. It was, we watched some dumbass people try to do dumbass things and get stuck. We sat and had lunch.
That's a blast. I love that. Yeah.
Went to all the cool spots, watched the race, watched other people tooling around, doing things. We ended up in some gigantic freaking sand dunes.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck
It was
sand.
awesome.
And then, I mean, that was it for the day, right? And then we just we went back to the campsite. Casey went and did Casey for a while, with meeting up with another group, entertaining people.
And I heard stories.
Yeah, we're not
because
quite.
Casey, you were gone by the time I got there on Saturday.
Yeah, so Casey took. And
I had to take off.
That was Friday. So we were originally planning on staying till Sunday, and I think with it being a small group, we got enough wheeling in a couple days, and it was cold as shit. Everybody was like, by Friday night, everybody was like, I'm good. Let's just wake up in the morning, break down camp, and hang around for the day, and then go home. And we ended up breaking down camp, and instead of, we went towards the Integratron. So rather than the way we've tried to go in the past, because usually on
talking about Saturday when we met up?
Saturday, yeah.
Okay.
So typically on Sunday after the race is over, we will head out the opposite direction because it's not closed anymore. You can go past the course. So we're like, we can't do that because it's Saturday. The race is actually going on. And so we went out towards the Giant Rock and the Integratron area.
Went east.
Yeah. And Shai was leading, and he gets on the radio and he's like, looks like Matt's here. And I'm like, no, that truck is moving way too slow for it to be Matt. And sure as shit, Matt showed up after because I had texted Matt on Friday and I was like, hey, because you talked about possibly coming out. Just a heads up, we're all going to come home on Saturday. Like, everybody's ready to go. And you're like, should I come out? I'm like, I don't even know what time we're leaving. It may be early, maybe late. I'm just giving you the heads up. And so you just made the decision to drive out Saturday morning. Yeah, Saturday morning.
Well, I made that decision on Friday afternoon. It was like, you know what? I'm gonna try and make it out on Saturday and go wheeling, or at least get something done on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
We had a crane lift on Friday night. It's like one of those things I don't have to participate in, but it's encouraged, and it's like, as a leader or whatever, hey guys, do it. You go out there with your pom poms and like, you guys are doing a great job. So I didn't get back home till like 1:30 in the morning, Friday or Saturday morning or whatever. But earlier in the evening, whatever, I'd called a buddy of mine, and I hadn't seen, this is like a lifetime friend I grew up with. And a few weeks back, he's like, dude, I hear you go four-wheeling and you have a podcast? Yeah, Matthew, I do. Do you want to go? Oh, I have I just bought a 2010 Explorer four-wheel drive, and I just want to screw around in it or whatever next time you go four-wheeling. And so in my mind, I was like, oh, shit, that was a few weeks ago. This would be like a perfect thing. Like, let's just, my idea was come in like we do, like a few miles short of the entry, Boone Road.
Yep.
It's just dirt. There's some sand. So you kind of need, it's beneficial to have four-wheel drive. You don't necessarily have to have it, but he's got a stock Explorer, 2010 on stock wheels, everything. And well, he you know what, let's hang out. I want to do this tomorrow. I don't want to sit at home all day. And let's see if we can catch up with the group. So I met him up in the high desert like 7 a.m. We hit the turnoff short of Boone Road, wheeled through Hammertown. And I'm like, this is Hammertown, dude. This is like,
don't stop. Don't roll down the window.
Don't make eye contact
Yeah.
with anybody.
Don't make
Let's just
eye
keep
contact.
moving. You know, there's a lot of dust and flashing lights or whatever. And we wheeled right through there. And then we got up to, you know, our typical campsite. You guys were already gone. It was like 10:15, 10:30 in the morning. You guys were already packed up and left. So we got out, and the Olaf group was still there. And I'm like, hey, this is like where we typically camp. And I was just explaining like how we normally do things. And I'm like, well, they apparently have already left. So I was like, okay, well, I don't know really how comfortable you are wheeling that stock Explorer, but there's that wedge or that little valley, that sandy dune area that's more of a direct route down into like Chocolate Thunder or Hammertown, whatever. And I told him, we're not going up to this location because that's difficult. You know, it's very soft. You got to carry momentum, and you know it's beneficial to have some kind of upgrade to your vehicle. But coming down, you could probably do it. I don't want to commit you because it's just me and a bunch of tow ropes if you get stuck. But if you want to go check it out, I think you can go through. Let's both of us drive down to the entry point. You can jump in my truck and we'll wheel through there, and I'll show you what it's like. So literally, we went up there and I hit that dune, you know, and I hit a couple figure eights in there, and then we came wheeling out. And boom, there you guys were, like right next to his truck. Like you guys were waiting on us. It was weird.
Yeah, it was very weird. And you said you tried to reach out, and for like all of us had spotty.
Well, I tried to text you.
Yeah, we all had spotty reception. So sometimes it worked, and sometimes it
And
didn't.
you guys had changed the radio frequency.
Yeah, we changed the radio frequency because when we first got there, we were talking, and they were using that frequency for race recovery. So we didn't want to be jerks and step on it.
So at that point, I was like, oh, well, shit, we got enough vehicles here, and there's a winch and whatever. We'll get you out of here.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about me getting you out of here. So at that point, the rest of the day, as a group, we wheeled to the backside of Chocolate Thunder and, you know, hit up a Giant Rock, went to Integratron. I blew a ton of money at Integratron again
Do they
because
still have those, excuse me, do they still have those very voluptuous lip signs?
of course,
Let's say,
yes,
know.
those are still there.
But they've stepped up their swag game. It seemed like the shop had a lot of better stuff this year.
So I'll be there next year again to blow another $100 on stupid
They're
ass
gonna
hats.
get you every year, dude.
Because all you got to do is like put a UFO like on a hat, and I'm like, fucking A, I got to have. I have to have that. And you know, this is how simple it is at my house. Is I just have to show the hat. I don't even have to like explain how much it was. Monty will just go, yeah, I know. You had to buy that shit. You know? Those motherfuckers could
I'll allow
like
it.
quadruple the price. Like, oh, this is a $200 hat. Fuck. All right, well, here's my $200. I got to have that hat. Like, that's how simple I am.
That's funny.
But yeah, we did hit the. That was the end of the day. But it was still like a lot of fun. My buddy got to four wheel his rig. And he's, you know, the funny thing was, I think we were speaking about it briefly, like, don't get too tied into this, like, old-ass Explorer. Like, I don't know. Number
There's
one.
zero fucking parts for
Yeah,
that thing,
like,
dude.
you need to, like, get some bigger wheels and get that rig off the ground a
I
little
was
bit.
just Googling.
He needs to fucking just sell that thing and buy a clapped out Toyota.
That's or Jeep even. Like,
Or
just
okay,
get
let's not
something.
get too
All
extreme
right, I
here.
apologize,
all right?
Jose. I apologize. But as a Ford guy, you know, I'm
pretty sure that
delusional.
there's stuff out there.
There
for
is.
that
Look at
Explorer.
there. You can build
There
an
ain't shit, dude.
dude. I'm sure you
It's
can
like
find.
torsion bar suspension, right?
I think it's all independent, all four corners. That
Yeah, I think it's independent. Either way, it was like
all
fun.
Four corners.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was fun getting him out there and then just
Yeah, get rid of it.
kind of showing him like
Dude, with enough time and money, that shit you can make that shit a fucking Ultra 4 race car,
Absolutely.
Oh,
dude.
shit. 100%. I'm glad I checked the chat room.
I was gonna say.
Mark
Yes.
commented on Rasputin. Rasputin was there, and
Dude.
look, everybody, Google Rasputin. If you know who Rasputin is. But he made an appearance in League of Legends or whatever, that last movie with
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yes, he's in that movie, and we saw him at the Integratron.
And we also saw the lady that killed the Grinch.
Yeah,
I actually took pictures of the lady that killed the Grinch.
But you know what? No, that yes, that was impressive too. But this motherfucker was Rasputin. The way the guy walked around, he strutted like you can't.
Fuck is I mean, I've heard the name, but
no, this is the guy. He's like a Russian
oligarch or
no, he's not an oligarch. He's like a medicine. He's not a medicine man, but
witch man.
Yes, like a witch doctor.
Oh yeah. This guy. This is a
And
crazy
the way
looking
that dude
motherfucker.
walked around, it
Wait.
was like, yeah, you can't kill me. I'm untouchable.
He was
That's the way that dude walked around.
The mad monk.
There were some interesting people at the Integratron this year.
This year, it was the Integratron was going off.
Because we were there on a Saturday, I think. So that's maybe what. No, we were there Saturday last time.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no, but
No,
this place
Sunday,
is,
Friday. When we're there on Friday.
Whatever. Either way,
it was
my-
it was popping.
it was going off
Yeah.
on.
A lot of voluptuous lip signs, huh?
Yes.
And I'll tell you that guy, the way he was dressed, like,
The way he moved you.
yeah, like I was a little jealous. Like, man, that guy's got so much confidence. Like,
You
that
wish you
guy
could pull
has
that
to
off.
be. He's like I was unkillable. Yeah, like because the first thing you see is like, oh, this fucking asshole. Fuck this dude. Look at the way he's dressed.
Tell him
the way
something.
he was dressed. The
Tell
way.
him something.
Well, no, I pray to God he doesn't listen to this and think I have to. But the guy was just so pompous and like the his presence or what he had a presence.
He did.
Did he not have a presence?
He did.
Yeah, it was
And,
almost like get the fuck out of. What are you doing here, you
Mhm.
fucking redneck? And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here, Rasputin. But anyhow, so that was the end of our day's exploration.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that we met up with you guys because it just kind of opened the one thing I don't want to say take for granted, but there is like strength in numbers, especially when you're four-wheeling. And I knew
Or
the
going
area.
against Rasputin.
Yeah.
God, no, we wouldn't have stood a chance, dude. If you know anything, Jose, if you know anything about Rasputin, like 4 or 5 trucks worth of people ain't enough to confront Rasputin. We all
right.
kept our fucking mouths shut
All right.
around him. But when I'm talking about having some familiarity with the terrain where we were wheeling, and I had like a newbie, with me in a very stock vehicle. Well, I had to try and think like, is he going to
can
be
we
able to
go
do these
here?
things? I don't know. But once we had more vehicles, it's like, oh, well, at least somebody can go get help. Or at least, we have enough vehicles to chain our way out of here or whatever. So
Did he have fun? Is it something he wants to keep
100%,
doing?
100%. He was like, dude, I had a blast. Next time you go out, please let me know. Which was the following weekend, which was this past weekend.
Oh, that's right. You guys did. Go
I
out
met
this
up.
weekend.
I met up with Jose and Tim and Dave and Joey for their Calico camping trip. But just me and Johnny went out for
For the day.
just the day. And I'm very glad that I did not have Matthew, my buddy, come out on that
He would have been fine.
over those rocks. At
Yeah. He would have been all right.
Please.
Do you guys get any good video? Because the 1 or 2 times that I've been to Calico, I was in a Jeep, and I remember it being pretty gnarly.
There was a 50-point turn.
Yeah, it took us fucking forever to get through that
It
little
took
section.
somebody in a Jeep Gladiator 25 minutes to go through one turn. That
Bro,
took
it
me
was-
a
it's
minute
a-
and a
What
half.
trail did you guys do?
I think it was like Tin Can Alley.
Okay, we're gonna have to pull that
Yeah.
up next week and talk about it in more detail.
Yeah, but 2 trail tracers actually went wheeling. Can you believe that?
What?
Well,
Same-
technically,
Same time.
four trail chasers wheeling within a 1 week span.
Yeah,
Dude, that's a new record for us.
it is.
And I was at both.
It's
crazy.
I don't think we have anything else planned, huh? Like that's the worst about finishing up a trip. You're like, all right,
What's
what's
next?
I got
Well, we're about to get we got Snowmageddon rolling in.
yeah.
So maybe some snow wheeling this coming Sunday.
Me and Jose were talking. Tell him, Jose, how we were talking.
What were we talking about?
God, Dad, don't do it. Or do it. I'll do it.
You can tell. So I don't even know what you're talking about.
Mojave Trail.
Oh, yeah.
Mojave
When?
Trail.
When?
Memorial Weekend.
Yeah.
Do
Fuck
it.
Fuck you.
It can't be as bad.
you.
Mathematically,
Yeah,
it
dude,
can't
I
be
mean,
as bad.
We're
It can't
due for a
be.
good one.
You know what?
I have a
It could be a
fridge.
good one.
I have a
I will.
fridge.
I will not be
I have-
going.
and I have a tent
No.
an awning.
No.
Look, we have easy ups. Everybody has a.
We have awnings now.
Everybody has an awning.
No.
Everybody has refrigerators.
Absolutely not.
It would be a different experience.
Fuck you
100%.
guys.
It's not going to be
No.
hot this year.
What about like a month earlier?
That's next weekend. Mojave Trail.
No.
We have to do it, and it has to be good.
It won't be good because you guys will be there complaining the whole time.
I was-
That's what I'm saying. Why not 1 month earlier? The beginning of May. The end of April, beginning of May.
Next week, yeah.
yeah, 2 weeks from now.
What are you talking about? It's freaking the middle of February.
Yeah, I
Look,
know.
it was a Memorial Weekend staple for a lot of years,
Yeah.
and there was one bad year.
which,
And now
which
we're
also
all
happened to be
scared.
the biggest year, like attendance wise.
Yeah.
Agreed.
There was a lot of people on that one.
There was a lot of people.
They're all traumatized.
Yes.
Nobody's coming.
Yeah, it was bad.
Look, we'll get our farmers almanac.
I'm looking at it
look
right
at
now.
the-
I'm looking at it right now.
Look at the trends for
And so on average,
Mhm.
this for some reason okay, here on average it's saying that the high for May is 83.
See?
In 2023 or
No, it was 2020.
2021.
It was 21. In 2021, it doesn't have me. It shows that the high in May. See, it says 90. This isn't correct. This isn't.
No
something-
way, dude.
It was 148 degrees there when we were there Memorial Day weekend.
I'm quite literally when we were crossing the like by the Travelers Monument.
Yes.
My truck said 118.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like not
Well,
not
put
even
it this way.
exaggerating. I always exaggerate.
Put it
but
this
that's
way: there
not
was a
exaggerating.
20-foot radius from the campfire to the nearest
Yeah.
person.
There was no need for a campfire other than lights.
Yeah, let's just put all our flashlights together.
Yeah.
One of those Amish made fire like fake fireplaces.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We can have that conversation. I just
We're having it.
We're doing it.
Maybe mid-April. We'll do it for my birthday.
I was just looking at that. The Google Calendar had Easter Monday. No one gets Easter Monday off, huh?
No.
I have
May-
Mondays
maybe
off.
Nicole, but I don't.
Wait, so it wouldn't. That's weird. You don't get Easter off?
Easter's always on a Sunday, so no, it never goes. Nicole's saying end of March. And yeah, 119. Mark is confirming 119. It was balls hot. It was ridiculous hot.
Yeah, let's just do the end of April, like the first weekend of May.
How about we just do it Memorial Day?
I mean, I'm down. I'll still go.
Everybody has the time. Nice long.
All right, everybody,
weekend.
we're gonna go ahead and because I'm traumatized by your anger from last time. You guys were all mean.
That was not angered towards you. It was just
No, I
Misery.
specifically remember you being angry at me for planning it that weekend.
no. We'd always. That's dumb. We'd
know what we
always
need to
done
do?
Memorial Weekend.
We need to hire someone to go get the freaking Oasis campsite
Yes.
at Razor
Yes.
Road
Yes.
and just hold it down. Hey, we'll be there in 2 days. You go get it.
Yeah.
With all the trees and shit.
Yeah, with all the trees.
Yeah, the Oasis campground.
And we've talked about a way to do this where we split up and have
We'll work out the
yeah.
logistics.
I'm not opposed to it.
Because look, we're talking about 9 months that we're gonna do this. Come on,
We're
we can
forgetting
do
what
it.
brought us to the dance, guys. We're neglecting our,
All the good
traditions.
times. You know,
Does
numerous
anybody
good
anybody
times.
want to go to Mojave to do Mojave again? Send us
Yes.
some messages on.
That's Cody.
I'm in.
at
Something.
trailchasers.net.
I don't know if anybody wants to do that again.
Yeah, Nicole says let's just drop off Jose's Frontier to hold that spot.
That's not a bad idea, Nicole.
You know what? We go in running deep like we did.
He's not using it. She is calling you out.
Yeah, that's old
That's
news.
right. If you don't
Shots
use
fired.
it- if you don't use it, you lose it.
Also, we had enough people. We could have just pushed those fucking people in that camp and just said, "This is ours now." F
What if
off.
Rasputin was in that camp though?
We need to recruit Rasputin. If we had Rasputin, yeah, you just walk in there and just wave them off, and they would leave.
All right. Well, we'll figure it out. That's always been a really fun trip. It's good for families and
And friends.
families and friends. So,
I'm down.
all right. Well,
That's three out of 4, Cody. Down.
who? Oh, no.
The 3 of us against you.
I didn't. Yeah, I guess I did say no.
Yeah, you were opposed, but secretly, I've had conversations with Jose.
We have a lot of
And
secret
I
conversations.
feel like there's like some mutiny. There's some mutiny.
It's
happening.
not mutiny.
It's not
it's,
mutiny.
It's not mutiny if you agree. Then it's just okay, let's do it. It is different. It is different. Like we have a lot more gear. We're a lot more prepared for something like that.
Yeah, we were
and I'll
ill
tell you,
prepared for that last trip.
if we did it even in April, I would buy a bucket fan, like just one of those Home Depot bucket fans, because I have enough 20-volt batteries, and then I just have a fan,
Yeah.
that we can sit around or whatever and utilize.
remember on that trip? I didn't have the rooftop tent yet. Remember on that trip? I had the king size air
Oh
mattress.
my God.
I had
Dude, you like crawl into your tent.
I had a Amazon, like a small 2-person Amazon tent, and I had a king size air mattress. Once you put the air mattress in and blow it up, you couldn't get it back out. Like
You could barely
was,
get into
it
your
was
tent.
18 inches. Like, it was like 18 inches thick air mattress. So you had like a 12-inch window to crawl in and out of the tent. It was so dumb. It was the dumb. And I remember I aired down the mattress and just folded it all together and threw it in the back of the truck.
Yeah, I was a dick. I parked right next to Cody, and I just opened my tailgate and pulled out my chair and just sat
and watched.
there. As it took him an hour to fucking unpack everything.
It was the worst.
And he was just looking at me every time. He was just
Yeah.
like, "You motherfucker."
It was the worst. All right. Well,
I think we need to flip the narrative, flip the script on Mojave Trail. Like, it's been enough time. It's been a couple years now.
It scarred us bad, but
It was a scarring, but you know what?
We took 1 year off.
Yeah, and you get back on that horse, and you fucking ride that thing, or whatever. If the Mojave Trail's a horse, we got to ride that horse again and have a good time, because we'd had numerous trips prior that were a blast, and
Epic,
even
yeah.
there were epic. Dude, we saw like the invasion fleet from space.
Yeah.
Like on that trip, there was a lot of great things too.
Naked
Oh, yeah.
dudes running
just-
around.
There was, let's not forget yes, exactly, like the crazy dudes that were, running down from in the middle of the desert. Like, what the fuck? Who the fuck is that? There's also the guy on the trail that stepped
Yeah.
out like Jason, from
Michael Myers, bro.
Mike Myers that came
Yeah.
out on the trail and was like, "What's up?" And I'm all, "Jose, keep driving." Jason's right behind you. That was all good times. We gotta
All right.
we gotta bring that back around.
if listeners are interested, connect with us on one of the emails or social media
have our
or
number.
something. And let us
Look,
know.
it's Shy,
Nicole,
Scott. Yeah, it's like the same.
Mark.
Sure. You
All right,
guys want to do it? Let's do it.
Let us know if we want to do Mojave this year. All right. Well, it is 8:30.
Do we want to do Mojave in like 2 months?
Yes.
I mean, honestly, we could do Mojave tomorrow. We've got 68 maps of Mojave. Like, we know exactly where to start and end. There's really not much setup to do it, so it's not that difficult, I don't think. All right, we're good. We will let you know if that's going to happen. Thank you to everybody that joined us at Hammers, and it was a really good time. It ended up being a small group. A bunch of people dropped off, but it ended up being a really good time. I am very tired for some reason, and I will check in with you, or we will all talk to you guys next week.
Good night.
Late.